Is it ever okay to cover original parquet flooring? My name is Brigette Romanek, and I'm going to answer some of the living room questions you asked AD. Q&AD, let's go. What are the best places to find affordable pieces that still achieve a polished look? I call it the Gucci meets Gap approach. And what that essentially means is that, yes, I have pieces that in my own home that I've saved up for, that I really wanted, and I love, and I will probably have forever. But it doesn't have to be everything in the room. In fact, it doesn't have to be most things in the room. The other part of that is really just bringing in pieces that mean something to you or pieces that you get creative about. And the creativity is what's so beautiful about design. I have looked in basements of people's homes, I promise you. What brings the specialness and the personality and you into the room are those pieces. One thing I did was I really wanted blue and white vases, and to have a vintage one or one with history from the early 1900s was very expensive. I went downtown in Los Angeles and I found vases in different shapes from $10 all the way up to $30. But I put the collection together, I threw flowers in them, and all of a sudden it was one of the prettiest things I had ever done, and I didn't spend over $30. Design is so personal and something that should feel you. It should be a love letter to yourself. Modern style versus a home with period features. How to create a space that honors both. Well, to create a space that honors both, that's called eclecticism. I love eclecticism because it's a way to showcase different periods and eras and styles. And I also think it creates a timelessness. When you mix pieces from different times and eras and designers and makers, it creates a really harmonious, also tension-filled moment that the pieces really speak to each other. If you have, let's say for instance, a home that is from like 1929, maybe a Spanish, we'll bring in some contemporary, bring in some modern, bring in some pieces that sort of challenge that. And what it helps to do is it defines that space. You know, all of a sudden the molding is more special. And if I were to pick pieces that were just from that time and that era, it would really be one note. Putting these things together allows for you to really look in detail at the individuality of each piece. You're immediately interested in the space, and something is created that's personal and beautiful because you can't do that twice. How to create a designated living room space within a studio. I know this well because I used to live in a studio. A great trick is to be able to use backs of pieces of furniture to become walls, if you will. Backs of furniture are a great way to signal you're entering into a different room, even without having the room. And rugs are 100% a great way to define a space. If I'm creating a seating area, so if my couch, let's say, is 8 feet, then I want my rug to probably be 10 feet, so that on either side of my sofa, there is still rug, because I really think that helps to define the space a lot. Color is another way. You know, you can have different color stories in different areas, and so that helps your mind and your eye to be tricked a little bit. Is it ever okay to cover original parquet flooring? Yes. Of course. And the reason why I say that is because it's about you and what you want, and this is your space. I would probably cover it with something that is removable. So meaning covering it with a rug, covering some of it with furniture, just things like that I can remove, because to be able to get original parquet flooring is so unique and can be so beautiful. But maybe you want to change the finish on the floor. Maybe that would make it feel like it's more something you want. But rugs, furniture, and changing the finish on the floors are ways to do it, but still keeping that incredible parquet floor. Do you have any tips for lighting with high ceilings? Absolutely. So we think of lighting as jewelry. And so with a high ceiling, you get to have some dangling jewelry. And that's what I would do is I would hang something that has a lot of length to it and is bold. And the reason why is because it's still part of the design story and it brings such a lovely mood and elegance to the space. Oh my gosh, apparatus just blows my mind. Lindsay Adelman, I don't even know what's happening. Historically, if you look at big grand rooms, they always have incredible chandeliers that just sparkle and just take your eye and visually overwhelm you in such a beautiful way. And you can take that exact same approach in your house if you have high ceilings. I want to get rid of my coffee table for space. What else can I use to replace it? I would say to replace it, you could use ottomans. I think ottomans or stools or poofs are all really great options because they are light, meaning that you can move them in and out as needed. You could put a tray on top of an ottoman, and then that flat surface will create that coffee table. Drinks tables, I find some of those really great, and they're very useful for drinks or a book, or if you like to eat and sit on your couch. So that's another beautiful, versatile way to not have a coffee table. How to design a living room to maximize conversation. Depending on your living room and the size, you can create multiple seating areas and thinking about conversation and how you want people to interact. Do you want someone's back to someone? Do you want it to be one big area where everyone is able to converse? And then that starts to dictate, should I have swivel chairs so someone can turn around to the person behind them if they are sitting in a vignette that has two chairs? Should I have a day bed where multiple people can sit, or I can lie down and then someone can talk to me from a chair across the way? It really begins with creating that one area, and all the other areas can stem from there. And I literally imagine myself on each piece of furniture and the purpose of that piece. So all of these things are important because you want people to come in and without knowing you've created this just for conversation, that they sit down and it really is what happens and it is engaging. And in a small space, I would say I love like an L-shaped sofa. I love a curved sofa because on the ends, people do kind of get to see each other and converse that way. And so those are two ways to maximize space. What's the best couch to get if you have kids and pets? Well, I'm a good person to answer this because I have both. And what I have in my home is I have a sofa that, number one, the fabric is durable. And what's really amazing is that now outdoor fabrics, performance fabrics, which are not the same as outdoor fabrics, but perform better than normal fabrics, are a great way to go because they are more durable and can take more accidents, if you will. Hold on a second, I will get some. Okay. It's a performance world out here. Okay, so I think I brought too many, but you're speaking my language. So what's really great is that performance fabrics, now they really can feel like velvets. They have patterns. These are Pendler, which I love, 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 because they sort of have that boucle, some like alpaca kind of feel to them with being amazing, and wools and the colorways are absolutely spectacular and gorgeous. There's so many companies that are using this as a normal fabric now. Crate & Barrel, West Elm I think does it as well, Restoration Hardware. Also, if you have the space, I love a deep sofa, a sofa where multiple people, animals, kids, teenagers can all enjoy the sofa. And so I don't think in any way, shape, or form you have to sacrifice style and sacrifice things that make you feel good. What shape coffee table works best with a sectional? Okay, what I would say is depending on the sectional that you get and the shape of the sectional, that should help to dictate the shape of the table and also the walkability around the table as you are going to be able to sit. If your sectional is curved, then I would do a round coffee table. So really you're following the shape of the sectional. I like to do this, it's an extra step, but I love blue tape. So I mark out the size of the sectional and I will tape out and mark out the size of the coffee table. And I walk around it. Listen, if I'm there by myself, and I call it my own personal staff meeting, and really figure out the functionality and how it will work, look, and perform and support what's happening in that space. But blue tape is your friend. What piece of furniture should I design my living room around? Ooh, that's an interesting question because different designers have different ideas on that. My take on that is, first of all, I walk into the space. I walk into the space and I feel it. For instance, if I say, this living room is going to be all about coziness. I want this to be a place where we just gather and relax. So first is probably going to be my sofa. That's going to be the piece that sort of dictates all the other pieces around it, because that's the main purpose of this room, is to really just like relax. If I'm looking at the living room and I'm thinking, I really want this to be a place where I am showcasing my paintings. So then immediately I'm thinking about my paintings first, and the lighting over my paintings first, and the colors in my paintings, and what that will dictate for the furniture. You have a chair that you've had for many years and you don't want to part with this chair. Plonk that in the living room and use that as the hero piece and build out from there, one piece at a time. And it's like building an outfit as well. How do you start that one? Thank you for all of your questions. I had a great time answering them, and I wish you all the luck in the world on creating the living room of your dreams. You can do it.